All right, what's up everybody? So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys some of my thoughts and opinions on the TLM-103. I've had a few months now to wrap my thoughts around this microphone, and I figured I would share them with you guys and help you guys decide whether or not you should go out and buy this microphone. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump straight into the video. So yes, I've had this microphone now for a few months, and I've really had the opportunity to spend some time with this microphone and see where I really sit with this thing. See how I feel about this microphone. I know that it's really easy to get caught up with a new product that you first get your hands on, but now that I've had some time to spend with it, I've gotten over that little honeymoon phase with it, and I can sit here and truly tell you how I feel about this microphone. If it is really worth the money, if you should go out and potentially get this thing for your setup. So let's real fast break down the cost of the microphone, since that is important to know. I spent somewhere around $1,400 to $1,500 for this microphone, and with that you get the microphone, of course, you get the shock mount, a traveling case, and I believe that's it. I think that is everything that you get. So yes, it is very expensive, $1,400 for a microphone. I know that you can get the cheaper version, but you don't get the shock mount. You get this cheap little like plastic clip for it that would attach to your stand. It's really cheap. I would honestly say that if you're gonna buy this microphone, just go all out and buy the full setup. You get the traveling case, which is really nice to pack it away when you're not using this thing. I use it all the time. If I'm not in here recording, I put it away in its case, and it is protected. It's very safe. I would say that if you're gonna buy this thing, just go all out, save up the extra, I think it's like $200, $300 extra dollars. I know it's a lot. I'm sorry. It's a lot of money. Save up that money and just get the full-on setup. Get the traveling case and the shock mount. I'm telling you right now, you won't regret it. It's definitely handy. I use it all the time if I'm not recording in this booth. Now, I made a video a little bit ago where I compared the TLM-103 to a Neumann U87 AI, which in my opinion is the bigger brother to this microphone. But in reality, I felt like making that video was a little unfair because I never have used a U87 AI. So in this video, I didn't want to compare this to a U87 AI. I've never used one personally, so I feel like it's not fair for me to sit here and compare it to that, or say that the U87 AI is not worth it when you can get a TLM-103, because like I said, I've never used a U87 AI, so I don't want to sit here and compare it to that. I'm going to compare this microphone, the TLM-103, to microphones that I currently have in my setup and microphones that I've used in the past, as that is a little bit more fair to gauge. Until I get a U87 AI, if I ever do in the future, I don't think I'm gonna sit here and be comparing it to that anymore. I don't think it's fair. So now the biggest microphone that I feel like stacks up to the TLM-103, and I've actually made videos on my channel in the past using this microphone and comparing it to the TLM-103, is the Rode NT1. In those videos, I talked about how the NT1 is very similar to the TLM-103 in a lot of different aspects. The first being is the self noise floor. On the TLM-103, it's very low. It is known for that. On the NT1, it is actually lower than on the TLM-103, which is good. What that means is that if you start to supply more power to the microphone, you will start hearing noise generated from your preamp before you would hear that in your microphone. With this microphone and the NT1, it is virtually undistinguishable. You would not be able to hear that whatsoever. It is that quiet. This thing is just widely accepted by all voiceover actors, and in my opinion, if you record vocals, a lot of the times it's going to be, you want a microphone that sounds good with voiceovers, especially when we're talking about recording rap. I still stand behind that. If you are a rap artist, a microphone that's going to sound good for voiceover more than likely is going to sound good for your raps. I still stand behind that. The NT1 has a very low self noise floor and a very flat frequency response, which overall determines the quality and sound that you get from your microphone. So in my opinion, the TLM-103 has the most flattering frequency response out there out of all these microphones because of the presence boost, and I am a sucker for that. I absolutely love brighter microphones. I feel like they fit my voice better than darker microphones. However, the NT1 is technically a darker microphone. Let's just be real now. It's going to sound darker than the TLM-103, but that doesn't mean that you can't EQ that microphone to make it sound very close to a TLM-103. There's workarounds with the NT1 to make it sound close to a TLM-103. I'm going to say it here. that I do not think justify spending the money on this microphone. I know you guys are gonna look at me crazy since I have one sitting before me. Why wouldn't I keep the NT1? It goes back to the Avalon 737 preamp that I own. I've said this before on my channel that growing up, I always wanted an Avalon 737. That was, in my opinion, the holy grail of equipment. That was something that I always wanted when I was younger. Every time I would watch studio videos, I would watch people using the unit. Overall, just knowing that that piece of gear has been used on so many records out there. Probably so many songs that you guys have heard have been tracked through an Avalon 737. Knowing that, I always wanted one of those when I was younger. The TLM 103 was the exact same thing in the microphone space. When it comes to microphones, I always wanted a TLM 103. I know a lot of you guys out here are like, what about the U87? Why didn't you always want the U87? Well, in my opinion, the U87 is a little bit darker, and look, I don't want to get into this whole thing of comparing this microphone to that, but I will say that this microphone is brighter sounding, and I gravitate towards brighter sounding microphones. I just think personally they are more flattering. So, with that being said, this microphone was something that I always wanted when I was younger. This is the Avalon 737 of microphones. This is something that I wanted growing up, so once I had the money to finally get my hands on one, I decided to bite the bullet and spend all the money to get this microphone. And look, I don't ever plan on selling this microphone unless I got my hands on a U87 and it just blew my mind and I felt like that was the only microphone that I will ever use. Until then, this is the microphone that I will use 100% of the time. I would never go back to using my Perception 100 or my NT1. You can get a sound from the Perception 100 and the Rode NT1 that is professional. There is no way that you can sit here and argue with me on that, because really at the end of the day, it comes to what you do behind the computer to overall sculpt and shape the sound of your vocals, because there's a lot more than just sitting here and recording in front of a microphone. This is like 10% of the overall product. What you guys don't see is behind the computer when I'm sitting back here and editing all this audio. It's really hard to sit here and justify spending all this money on just your microphone when I feel like there's other pieces of equipment out here that are going to make a bigger difference in your setup than just the microphone. And again, guys, I've preached this message in the past that there is other pieces of gear that you should buy before buying your microphone. I guess it really comes down to how much money you have, what's in your budget, because the NT1, you cannot go wrong. But if this was something that you always wanted, and this is something that you believe is the holy grail of the microphones, I'm not going to sit here and try to argue against that and push you away from that, because I was in the same position. I love this microphone. This was something that I always wanted. So when I got the money, I went out and I just bit the bullet and bought the microphone. And I can tell you right now, I have zero buyer's remorse. I am still in love with this microphone. Again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you whether or not I think this is better than a U87 until I get my hands on one. But this, in my opinion, is the best microphone that I have ever used. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna tell you right now that the TLM 103 is going to sound better than most of these other microphones out here, which it should. If you're spending that money, you should be getting quality at the end of the day. And you really cannot go wrong with the TLM 103. I think this microphone is easily one of, if not the best microphones that you can buy right now in 2020, until something else comes out and it just blows this thing away. This thing will still hold up for a very long time. So yes, after all these months of being able to use this microphone and really just wrap my thoughts and opinions around it, I still stand in the same position that I did months ago. I believe that right now in 2020, this is probably the best overall bang for your buck microphone that you can buy. This is probably going to be the most expensive microphone that you can buy that is really going to make a distinguishable difference between lower budgeted microphones out there. I want to keep in mind that a lot of you guys out here are not trying to spend $4,000 on just your microphone. So understanding that, again, this is an expensive microphone, $1,500 for this microphone. This is going to be probably your best microphone that you can buy right now. So if that is something that you need to save for, something that you are setting a goal out to buy, I really don't think that you can go wrong with this thing. I absolutely love my TLM 103, and I have zero plans of getting rid of it in the future, unless I get my hands on a U87 AI, and that thing just blows me away. But until then, this is something that I will use 100% of the time. Anyways, guys, that's gonna wrap up the video. Thank you all for watching. If you have any questions or really just anything to say, go ahead and leave that down in the comment section below. I always do look forward to reading your guys' comments, so thank you all very much for that. But until then, guys, I will see you all in my next video. So take care, everybody.